After 12 long years on hiatus, we are back. Banter is back in business.
We're back.
We are back. Caren, this is so absolutely amazing. I cannot be more excited about today.
I think I'm more excited than you. I can't believe we're doing this. It took us long enough, huh?
I know, right? So, if this is your first time plugging into Business Banter, welcome. We'll explain what the heck we're doing here.
Yeah.
If you were part of our amazing community from 12 years ago and we took a little bit of a pause, welcome home. We are back to do basically two things that you as a business owner are going to try to do: save time and make more money. And we're going to do that with fun, excitement, cutting edge tools, cutting edge guests, format that is basically what we did 12 years ago, and we were so ahead of our time. Caren, do you remember back in those days? I know we were talking right before we came on here. Like we were the Friendster of live streaming back then.
We really were. We were using Google Hangouts, if I recall, because they were the very first to the party in terms
Yeah.
of, side by side streaming. And I remember, first of all, connections were not great. It was fuzzy. It was blurry. In fact, those shows are still sitting on my YouTube channel. It'd be kind of fun to like open them up and see what they look like. But it was crazy. It was
Yeah.
crazy. And we had some amazing guests that came on. It was awesome.
Well, so where you been for 12 years?
Doing nothing. I've moved 4 times, I think, since we did this.
Well, you know what? You're living the digital nomad lifestyle to some extent, right?
I am. And you know what? We make decisions not based upon where we're working at this point. We make decisions on where do we want to live next.
Exactly. So you guys, welcome to the show. Caren and I are super close friends, and let me just kind of go back in time. Back in time, over a decade ago, over 12, 13 years ago, Caren produced a podcast that was absolutely one of the most fun. It was such a fun time because we were really helping business owners make more money is really what the show was all about. And what
Right.
Caren did as a producer was she had myself and another host, and we would bring on guests that were like really not always accessible to everyone else. And we
Right.
would bring them on the show, and we would literally, as the show is titled, banter. And
Right.
we didn't bring on people that we just agreed with all the time. We didn't bring on people that were at the bottom of their game. We didn't bring on people that were in a downward spiral. We
Right.
always aspire to bring you guests and people that we're going to call in kind of on the fly. Like Caren and I have talked about, like we want to even do like phone a friend. Whereas if we get on a topic and we've got a guest and the three of us are bantering back and forth
Right.
and we feel like, hey, somebody else could really benefit from this, we're going to literally pick up the phone and call and get them on the show. And one of the things that I so value about what Karen's done is really put together a network. Her network is wide and vast of people that are interesting, top of their game, large audiences, large businesses, and come to the table with not only something to say, but maybe that they don't say it very often.
Well, right. And also these are people that are actually doing it. They're just
Yeah.
not talking about it and saying, follow me, I've got this great thing over here. These are people that are literally doing it. And they want to share because they also come to the table in service. And
Yeah.
I think Casey, that's what you talk about all the time. Show up first in the reason to share and to listen and to learn, and then the relationship is formed. So we're going to
Yeah.
bring those people on.
And I think the other thing about when we bring on a guest and we get started talking about a topic, you guys, we're not talking about bringing on a bunch of speakers and trainers that we see all the time, right? Excuse me. What we're talking about is bringing on practitioners that are
Right.
on the ground, that are in the trenches. They're
Right.
the ones testing out AI. They're the ones
Right.
testing out cutting edge technology. When Caren called and said, "Hey, I've got this crazy idea. What do you think about bringing Business Banter back?" I was like, "I'm only going to do it if we can do the same philosophy we had 12 years ago, which is we want to sort of break the bounds, break the barriers of what people are talking about now,
Right.
so that it's relevant for you guys to be able to put stuff into practice going
Right.
forward. So rather than focusing on, hey, here's all what's happened in the past or what's going on almost right now,
Right.
and this is why Caren is like the perfect co-host for this and producer for this, is that she's always 3 moves out. I mean, even just a few days ago, I mean, I spend a lot of time vetting out technology and looking at tools and, you know,
Guys, what he's trying to say, I literally blew his mind. You
I lost sleep. I have insomnia anyways, and I lost sleep over a single tool. And the reason that this is so powerful
Right.
for you as a part of our community is that the problem that this tool solved was a problem in my own personal portfolio of businesses that caused so much friction
Right.
that it stopped me in my tracks. And
Right.
so I think when Karen's bringing these tools and ideas to the table, what happened for me was I recognized where the friction was. It
Hmm.
stopped me from doing anything. I then was introduced to a piece of technology and a tool. It then removed the friction and
Right.
allowed the business to move forward. And that's really the simplistic formula for
Right.
massive success in business. The challenge for a lot of us are that we don't open our minds up to recognizing and understanding where the friction is,
Right.
and or not being open enough to look at a tool that somebody else has bringing to the table. And I'll give you a
Exactly.
perfect example. Like Caren brings me stuff all the time, and a lot of times I'm sure she gets frustrated because I'm like, yeah, I don't really get it or whatever. And meanwhile, she's like on 87
Right.
cups of coffee with excitement. When we as business owners, especially those of us that are growing and scaling and building for exit and or acquiring businesses or acquiring customers, like removing the friction, removing the barriers to leap forward is huge. And Karen, I have a phrase that's rolling through my head, and I want to get your take on it because I think it goes to what we're even talking about here, and that is that doubt will take you out of action, and action will take you out of doubt.
Yes. Oh, I love that. That's good.
I blew,
Did you
you
just
know, I
make
have.
that up?
No, I think it's really important because I look at in our portfolio of businesses what really stops us from taking risks, what really stops us from going to this conference or using this tool or talking to this person or trying a different
Right.
script or trying a different ad, is that it's the doubt inside.
And you walk your, I mean, you're actually an example of this. And I don't want to embarrass you, but I'm going to embarrass you. Back in those days when we were doing this, I'm a geek. I'm a tech geek. I love technology. It's the more the better. And I remember what you would always say, low tech,
Yeah. Big
big
check.
check. And you were adverse. You just didn't want to learn any technology. You wanted to do your thing. And somewhere around the line, I don't know when it happened, you started realizing what technology can do. It's not the only thing we do, but it's the thing that allows us to reach more people. And you literally changed your slogan.
To high tech, high check.
And no,
High
it's
tech
actually
is a
a
bigger
bigger
check.
check.
But you know what it was, Karen? Even back in those days, it was my own scared little boy
Right.
that caused doubt, which caused me to be scared, which caused me to blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And it wasn't until I recognized that, oh, the action is something that could be messy. But as business owners,
Right.
I'm the CEO or I'm the guy in charge or I'm the gal in charge. So I should know everything and I should be the ones pulling all the strings. When the reality is, as a CEO or as an owner, I actually want everybody else to be smarter than I was or I am. I mean,
Right.
I still take this philosophy. And so one of the things I talk a lot about is taking away the scary.
Mm.
And whether that's having a mentor, and when I say mentor, I mean somebody walk you through it, like you walked me through this
Right.
technology the other day, or it's hearing it enough times, or it's just practice. I come back to it's really funny because I will happily admit this. I know some people will get all wackadoodle about it, but I am one of those crazy crypto guys, right?
Right.
But I think what happens is a lot of people get scared because they don't understand crypto. So the easy default is to laugh or say you're crazy or I don't know anything. Whereas if you really play around with it and mess around with it, there's so much to learn. And so it's always really interesting. And I bring this up because I think this is a philosophy that we have here at Business Banter.
Right.
And that is, a lot of people, for example, going back to crypto or the stock market or investing, they won't want to take the time to learn because they're scared, and their
Right.
ego won't allow them to learn and try, even in the stock market.
Hmm.
And so they'll go blindly invest their money with somebody who they haven't really vetted out, but
Right.
who they think, because they've got a pretty business card or they're with a franchise or whatever, knows all about businesses and how to invest their money. And they put all their trust into
Right.
a group of people that don't know. And so I say that our job here at Business Banter is to break down the scary for you as a business owner
Right. And you
and
and I
allow
are
you to,
both trainers. Casey, you and I are both teachers. We
yeah,
are educators. We are in our lane. We are in our best space when we are teaching people. And I get excited when the light bulb goes on and they realize that what I just showed them is a game changer, or their workflow is going to change. We are both teachers. And I think that is an unusual thing for a show to have, to actually, that this is based upon the fact that we want to teach, and we are going to break it down as simply as we can. And if you have questions, we're going to allow you to come and join us on the show every so often. We can do a hot seat, we can do anything. So we're looking forward to hearing what you want to know about and what you want to learn about. And we want to bring you the best in the industry.
yeah, I think it is. It's so valuable. Tribal knowledge gets passed from one generation to another generation through stories, through dance, through music, through acting, through the written word, through videos, through technology. We're just another component of that. And so our job, it's really funny why you were saying that, Caren. I was thinking, I do a lot of podcast interviews, and one of the things I'm asked quite often, I'm sure you are as a podcast producer, you probably have guests that ask this and hosts that ask this a lot. It's sort of like, what's your superpower? Like, what is your superpower, right? And it's really interesting because when I'm asked that, I give one of two answers, and I realize that both answers are kind of quirky, to some extent. Number one, I take complex topics and business strategies and ideas, and I can break them down to a very simple format to where a 7-year-old can understand most of them,
Right.
right? Or I'm making it up. Um, and number two, I have built my brain to recognize and come up with creative ways to add profits and revenues seemingly out of thin air to almost any business that exists, which is why I have a good career of people asking me for advice on how to increase profits and increase revenue and increase sales. Because if you look at things from just a different lens,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see things very differently. Caren, so let me ask you, superpower.
As you were
Other
talking,
than being a rock and roll kids singer, singing at Carnegie Hall, being a cantor, being so massively musically inclined, what else do you have under that cape?
you know what? I think you actually touched on it. I am always ahead of the curve. I
Yep.
see things coming even before they come. And in fact, we were talking before the show, the live stream thing. I'm one of the 5 top live streamers, I guess,
On
everywhere
the planet, by the way,
on the planet, I guess.
in
But
4.5 billion years. Go ahead.
but what's interesting is I started live streaming in the early 90s. It wasn't a thing in the early 90s. Do you recall ever hearing, let's go live stream something? I was at that time in a congregation. I was a cantor, and we had a lot of people that would be shut ins or assisted living, or they were in the hospital and they couldn't come to our services. And I had this crazy idea one day, and I had been there for 1 year, and I said, maybe we can stream. There wasn't even a word yet. Maybe we can stream what we're doing here, and people can watch it on their television. And I got the looks of, what the heck are you talking about?
Yeah.
And within 6 months, with satellites, we were bouncing off satellites from a congregant that lent his satellite to us. Basically, we had cameras put up on the congregational walls. We had somebody sitting at the computer running the machine, because this was like, nobody had done it.
Yeah.
And we were first. We were first to the table. Within a couple of years, every synagogue was streaming their services. And in fact, look what happened now in the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Everyone went to the internet. So my superpower is looking ahead and saying, that's where I want to be. And this is what we're going to do next. And we did that with the shows. We did that with, we had an online, we've done a lot of things. We'll just, I'm sure
Yeah.
it'll come up.
And you guys, here's the thing. Any of you that have watched now, friend, you've stuck around for the last 10 minutes or so, you've probably undoubtedly thought in your head, these guys haven't even given us a call to action yet. So we call this a CTA, right?
Right.
And if you've been in business and you're doing over $1 million a year, you obviously know what a CTA is. If you not, we will try to not use many acronyms on this show. And if we do, we'll try to explain them so that you understand them, right?
Right.
Because acronyms create doubt,
And
right?
anxiety, because you feel like you don't fit in. You don't know
Yeah.
what anyone's talking about.
Yeah. So our call to action for today is go to businessbantershow.com. We have a ton of stuff that we're going to be doing with this show. Building the community is really important to us because it isn't fun if it's just us sitting here. I mean, it is fun because it's us, but we would have a much more lively conversation without the camera rolling or not,
Right.
quite
Right.
honestly. But this show is for us by us. And so what I mean by that is, gang, if there are people you want to see on the show, you want to have us get into a debate with, look at things from a different angle and a different perspective, or maybe you have a piece of technology or something that will save business owners time and make them more money. And Caren, this is really important. It's really, really important. I think we get this out. Our show is designed to save you time and or make you more money.
Right.
And it is very specific in the language of not using save money. We are not working with coupon clippers.
Right.
We are helping business owners save time and make more money. With the pie being bigger, you
Right.
can create bigger impact in your community, in your
Right.
teams, in your employees, in your customers' lives. And that's really
Right.
kind of
And what
my,
I like to say is we're going to show you how to work smarter, not harder.
yeah.
There is no reason that you should have to work so hard when you put systems in place, when you put things on autopilot, and when you put templates in place. The rest is a piece of cake.
Yeah. And so what we're going to do is we're going to stuff your gullet full of cake. That's really
That's a visual, and I think I missed the boat here. I should have had a picture of cake to put up here.
well, maybe we'll bring on a cook that will give us the recipe for building the best cake, and then we
Right.
can debate whether it should be paleo, keto, just full sugar. We can have all kinds of issues.
Absolutely. We're going to do this one more time because we can. We want you to check it out because we have stuff there. We have really good things there. We're going to have the shows we'll be living there. We'll have some downloads. We'll have some really cool things. Check it out.
Yeah, Caren, I am so unbelievably excited for this show. Next episode, we are going to have a guest that's going to blow you away. And it's funny. I listen to a lot of podcasts, so I've really sort of dialed in for myself what I like and what I don't like.
Right.
And for me personally, one of the things I'm most excited about this show is that we are not an interview show.
No.
It is not going to be Caren and I getting a list of questions that the guest gave us that they want to be asked or that we came up with.
Right.
It is a banter show, which means that we want people that come at these topics and ideas from different perspectives
Right.
so that you can go implement them how it works for your business, whether you're in real estate or magazine sales or film production or you run a water park. Any of those, the goal is to help you as a business owner save time and make more money.
I'm in.
I'm in. So the question is, as we kind of wrap out of here, and Caren, I'll pass it to you. I know for me, I am fully engaged and ready to banter.
I am ready to banter, and I want to use your phrase go out, give somebody an awesome day. We'll see you next time on Business
Ciao.
Banter. Goodbye, everyone.